TrueHouse 405 live Friday the 27th of August. I'm Justin House. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't, welcome full stop. Touch and go there. It's normally 9 o'clock start. I'm 27 minutes late, but those that have been here, like I say before, will know that I'm frequently fashionably late. I'm just going to try. I'm going to try and get the other. I'm a phone guy, so I don't possess a camera yet. I'm just going to try and get the other stream going as well. So bear with me. Hold on to your whatever. Let's have a look, see what I can achieve here. Let's have a look. Okay, let's see what I can do. Okay, I'm going to give this a go. Good evening. So look, tonight's stream, I've called it Feeding Fiends, okay, F-I-E-N-D-S. And that's really with reference to the, make sure I got this microphone. I think it's okay. The feeding frenzy that isn't just the media, but and I often refer to media as smeardia, or in the case of social media, I call it social media. And let's just see if I can get another channel going here some way, somehow. Okay, we'll give it a go. Sorry guys, I'm just going to put my do this and just see what gives. Sorry, me just leaning across there. Sorry guys, I'm blocking the camera, but forget a shot of my armpit. Sorry. Hello mate, who's that? There's somebody there. Okay, we're let's have a look. Let's have a look, see if this is actually working. It's a bit dodgy on the old camera there. Okay, let's try that angle. Try that. Something went wrong. Oh, we'll give it a go. We'll see. Could be a dodgy call. Before I go, like I say, episode 405 tonight. Yeah, signal's dodgy. Signal is dodgy. It's fine though. It's fine. He says confidently. Let's have a look. See if I can fix this. It's not really what we want, but anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. Trying to amend these camera angles really. Okay, that's YouTube's all right. That's okay. It's just this one here. I know. It's literally obviously the last minute when I keep the YouTube channel open. It's 4:05 tonight. This is 4:05 tonight. So yes, 27th of August, he says. Keeping the YouTube channel open and then deciding last minute between Twitch. I've actually gone with Facebook because still not allowed. They. When I say they, I don't know who they are. I guess now they is my reference to an algorithm. I'd be ever so surprised if it was any type of human. But the I said this last night briefly. The block was on both Instagram and Facebook. Twitch has been okay. YouTube's been okay. I need to explore Odyssey and Rumble. Any sort of free streaming. Anyway, so it's fiendishly, or should I say, feeding fiends. So you got this weekend. It's a bit of a, I guess I was going to go with Afghanistan, and unless you want me to go with this Woodley Paul thing. For those of you that saw the press conference, it's a bit of a, I don't know. It's completely subjective. Some people like it, and I don't take it seriously. I take it as purely. So I'm looking for my. I take it as purely entertainment. I think it's entertaining. There's one thing Jake Paul said in the presser, and Tyrone Woodley is sat there, typically Tyrone, and God, that camera's awful, and he said. I don't give a shit. He said, I don't give a shit. And I begrudgingly admire that. I know if I was to be, or if anyone takes a view that, look at the messaging, like this is for the youth of today, that you want your public figures, you want these people to be giving a positive message, and in light of the way we are at a societal level, that what was it the other day? I was prompted to this in an earlier stream, because I think it was Shirley Temple. Was it one of those sort of the silver screen era, the golden era of Hollywood? It might have been Shirley Temple. I'll Google it. But had died, had ceased to live. Because even saying dying now is, I've noticed that there seems to be an inexplicable lean or bent or trend towards daring to utter, oh, so and so's dead. People do die, and it's like, I remember years ago, if it was a family death, say, oh yeah, so and so's passed on, or they've moved on. And then, when you get a bit older and you get the corners knocked off you a little bit, you go, oh yeah, so, my so-and-so's dead, granddad's dead, or parents are dying, people die. And this is going somewhere, because it's related to the 1-9, yeah? I can't even bring myself to say it. So, I know I said last night the COVID station, that should be sufficient. The COVID station, tapping out with that one. And if the narrative now is that humans are going to get taboo, or making it taboo, the topic of, wow, people get old, people get ill, people die, this is normal, and I just don't think it's a very healthy, like I say, in terms of, I suppose the real word that is being used these days is optics. Like someone of my generation, being a Gen Xer, would have said, well, that's the message, that's the what are you trying to convey as a private, Gen Pop civvy, or you could be Piers Morgan, you could be a Joe Rogan, someone that's on the screen all the time, or a geek idiot like me. It doesn't matter what are the optics, what is the messaging, and I find this to be at best it's brittle, isn't it? It's a brittle conversation. Tim Pool mentioned it the other day in his stream, that only people old enough, like only people sort of 40 and over, are going to remember or recall, because everyone's got amnesia now through cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, and just that sort of whitewash brainwashing of, can you please forget history? Can you please forget the Third Reich? Can you please forget the wars? Can you please forget systemic racism and all this shite? And by the way, can you please dispense with anything that's funny? Can you dispense with comedy? Can you can we eggshell our conversations now? And just, again, for the sake of optics, erring on the side of caution all the time, whether you're in the comfort of your own home or sat in a cafe or a pub with your mate having a chinwag, it's almost as if, shit, where's the Minority Report, right? Exactly like Tom Cruise, yeah? There's going to be like something like a drone appear, and of course you could say, well, now with third-party, tracking, cross-app tracking, although anyone that's even listened to 10 minutes of the great Edward Snowden would know that all of our devices are listening regardless. So no, don't buy Alexa, but I guess optically speaking, when you've got, somebody said the other day, and the reason I'm being very unhelpful by saying somebody is I genuinely do not recall. I was watching something on YouTube, because that's probably most of my sort of diet is, I'll take in a bit of the news. I don't like to get too quagmired with the news. Whatever news I'm watching, world news, Sky News, BBC, and American news and English news. You can only take so much news, because we know that it's tough to decipher a modicum of truth. But I think if you go look at the Jake Paul fight this weekend as here's our social, like, how far have we fallen? So why am I mentioning this? Because it's an event. I know nothing about boxing. I enjoy boxing, and as a fan, I remember watching Tyson. When I was a young lad. When I was an early, 18 to mid 20, whatever. Just I remember that 90s era. Watching Tyson and the spectacle, yeah. And that's worth listening to. If you listen to Teddy Atlas now, does really good podcasts, really, really interesting, because there's someone with something to say. And I think, like some wanton ant heap, isn't it? Everyone's like scrambling and sprawling over each other in an effort to say, listen to me, I'm important, I've got something to say. And the truth of it is, God, do you know what? That is appalling. I know, it's a sloppy gooseneck. It's an appalling, it's an awful angle. I know, it's terrible. Hang on, let me just try one more time. I'm literally tight in the back of the clamp. It's terrible. It's terrible. It looks absolutely naff. But anyway, so you've got something occurring this weekend. If for no other reason than just going onto YouTube and doing what we do, and you scroll away and you're like, oh right, okay, it's this YouTuber guy, and then I gotta be honest, when I was watching the, and that's why I've called tonight's, what did I call it? I called tonight feeding. I was going to call it feeding frenzy, but I think it's like feeding, F-I, as in people fiend over this, feverishly fiending over a feeding frenzy, and it is. It's social media. And the news, of course, the smear. I can't. I'm trying to apex this argument. I'm trying to go, right, okay, Justin, can you just apex this into some sort of cul-de-sac of a conversation? Can I convey this tonight? It is episode 405, yes. It is 405 tonight, yeah. Can I somehow present this argument in a can this be an easy 45-minute conversation that you can consume, bite-sized? That sounds cheesy, and just say, well, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with YouTubers. I doff my cap. I do. Because I was watching the brothers, Logan and Jake Paul, do their training in Costa Rica, and I thought, well, you can't argue with their fitness. They're supremely fit lads. They've applied themselves. See, gone is the snob. There's no room for snobbery. There's no room. Well, in my opinion, there's no room for the hierarchy. So if you caught me 20 years ago, 20 years ago, sort of, when I was in Venice Beach, those days, right? And I was like, it's bodybuilding or nothing, it's bodybuilding or bust, I was one of those twats who would have smirked at CrossFit, or even though I was actually raised in an environment that was pro boxing and pro bodybuilding and pro strongman, powerlifting and strongman, although they're two different disciplines, of course. And now it's like, okay, we've taken a very eclectic approach, a bit of this and a bit of that, and in fairness, and I'm coming at this from a fanboy's purview. What did Bruce Lee promote's not the right word. What did he? I've still got the Tale of Jeet Kune Do. I've still got that book. Dan in Santo's in there, and you're thinking, what did you promote, mate? You were promoting this eclectic. How we must use what's useful, discard. Get shot of what is not useful to us. And I remember this as a teenager. This is going somewhere. This will hopefully, I'll segue this onto this weekend's festivities, right? And I just hello to that gentleman. I do apologise for that shit camera angle. That is just, oh God, it's awful. It's just the back of that clamp keeps slipping. I'm just constantly adjusting it because it's like falling down all the time. I can just push myself back a bit more. Anyway, and it's like I was a student of I say student, I loved Tyson, I adored Tyson. I would rent every American Ninja movie, Michael Dudikoff, American Ninja, and Chuck Norris, and Bruce Lee this and Bruce Lee that, and of course Van Damme, and all these things that you filled your head with when you were a 15, 16, year old. And I fell into locally here, in my hometown of Bournemouth in Dorset, where I currently have been for the last 3 or 4 years. It's like I discovered a local Wing Chun club. I know William Chung, Yip Man, or Wing Arm and Lap Sao, all that shit. And talk about conflicted, because I remember learning Wing Chun and finding it technically, I was like, why can't we just do go, go, go? Why can't we just bash? And I realised that bashing, but with skill, was actually boxing, and the reality is that or as I found that as the relatively young age of 15, no matter what martial arts you practiced, and of course we were all obsessed with Bruce Lee. The irony being Bruce Lee's Tale of Jeet Kune Do, and Jeet Kune Do, being an eclectic, the way of the whatever intersecting fist, really was the modern, the birth of mixed martial arts, because that was it. It was a, you are really looking at an amalgamation, aren't you? It's a hybrid system of going, right, well, we know, you look at the boys in the Netherlands, you look at the sort of Dutch kickboxers and the real Thai boxers just lopping down trees with their shins from birth, and giving it all this, and then you look at a good boxer, an Irish boxer, an English boxer, an American boxer, a gypsy, whatever, and you think, Christ, these boys, and then you start to realise okay, what's actually, then you look at a bloody good wrestler, yeah, look at someone that can really wrestle. And judo, I did judo at school, and like, wow, you know what I mean? Learn how to roll, learn how to fall, man. And then along came UFC in what, November '93? Yeah, it was November '93, I think. And I'm fascinated now at the leapfrogging, the modern advances in this, and the fact that you've got the commercial aspect. You can look at Conor McGregor being the obvious example of it's the commercial aspect of people are as interested in his Lamborghini whatever. What's he got made by Lamborghini cars and boats and God knows what. Probably a mountain bike as well. I don't know. And then you look at, in terms of spectacle this weekend, with young Jake Paul fighting an ex-dominant UFC champ like Tyrone Woodley, and I find that entire conversation, do you know what I mean? I find that really interesting that we've reached this fulcrum point, we've reached this strange crossroads. And to my earlier point about how someone like Bruce Lee, if you're a martial arts purist, if you're a pugilistic purist, if you're into the essence of this is Western boxing and this is Chinese boxing, and you look at all these different attributes a person. I was always very into people like Paul Vinnick. You can still occasionally find a rare crackly VHS copy of Paul Vinnick's attributes to the soundtrack of Pink Floyd's Time, I think. But you really are coming out of that Hickson, Gracie, Dan Inosanto, Eric Paulson, that lovely Paul Vinnick, Larry Hartsell, that lovely era, 70s, 80s, 90s. There's an explosion of practitioners in the martial arts and the boxing communities. And now, that's why I mentioned it's really curation, it's really editing, it's really leapfrogging. Because if you take a young man like a Jake Paul and his brother Logan, essentially these are two brothers, and I love them or loathe them, and I know they're Marmite, they're very polarizing is the word, isn't it? They're very divisive. You've got to sort of look at it from a commercial point of view and go, well done for taking essentially this. They've been streaming on YouTube since they were 10, God knows what. So they're incredibly adept at knowing how to put themselves out there on camera, learning as they go. And I'm not one of those people that is, God, I'm such a... I will figure it out. Whether you're a reluctant admirer or a casual observer or an out-and-out fan, any of those positions that you stake and go, well, look at what's occurring this weekend. There's going to be even people that claim to hate this, and there are people that will quite happily sit at their keyboards going, wanker, 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 yet 9 out of 10 of us would go, yeah, I'd like a bit of that. Because it's like if someone said to me, Justin, would you stand there and just get bopped on the chin and get, do a Ben Askren? Yeah, of course I would. Make a fool of myself for $1 million, of course I would. Do it for $1,000, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So I don't have anything other than a quite a sincere admiration for the business acumen, for the fact that at the very least this weekend, whatever happens with this Woodley Paul fight, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's going to talk about this. So yeah, I just thought it was worth mentioning, and that's why it's a fiendish feeding frenzy. It's literally like chucking, slice of bread as seagulls, isn't it? And you know, I use that as a it's analogous to, it's a metaphor, because people are, especially now, you know, with the whole COVID whatever, people are bonkers, man. People are absolutely, you know, it's so. I know I mentioned this last night, but I almost feel a sense of duty to mention it again. So I'm just looking literally behind that camera to make sure it's like, that's all right. At least my bloody head's in shot. Just keeps doing that. It keeps so. I feel a sense of duty. It's ridiculous, but it's my pride. It's not an ego. Because I you know, had the ego knocked out of me years ago when my body started to go. You know, pain and injury and illness takes away ego. It's really good, actually. In that respect, you know, you can just have daily doses of humility. Just really, yeah. So, but I when I was in what day did I go to Guys? Wednesday I was at Guys. And they still don't want me to have the vaccine, and I've got to stop calling it that. I know. Sorry. My medical professionals still want me to not have the therapeutic. You know, I've spoken about this at great length, so I'm not going to go too much into the. You know, and also I didn't, you know, I haven't been around. What, you know, it's everyone. Not everyone. That's a bit harsh, but many people. I'll say it again. Many people have become not just armchair quarterbacks pontificating about the COVID situation, but they've. You know, it's like there's so many little expressions and descriptive terms used to correctly describe people that will just go online like this very minute and just go, well, this is, you know, and deliver it like they're just dropping some profound, earth-shattering statistical truth. I too look at Dr. Fauci and think you're a lying sack of shit, and Ferguson and Paul Daszak, and the list goes on. There are many actors, I use the term correctly, there are many actors in this because it's become exceedingly performative, isn't it? You know, you've only got to watch any of our or the American politicians to understand the degree of social performing. So whether it's a piece of shit Pelosi, or if I'm speaking about pieces of shit Biden, just despicable what he's done. When the mask is donned as they approach the microphone and taken away and hung over an ear, it's a performance. It's spectacle. It's very, very performative. That's why I gleefully watched the leaked footage of Pelosi's fundraiser from Napa County, just like Gavin Newsom. Again, same thing. You know, you no doubt De Blasio would do it in New York, and Cuomo too. We know the one rule for me, another for thee. We know this. And you know, the people serving, the literal servants, are obviously always people of colour, you know, Hispanics, Mexicans, and you know, yeah, coloured people, and they're all wearing masks. Yet every single elderly rich white person is of course not wearing a mask. And when I saw that footage, I was like, yeah, that's about right. That's exactly what's been happening. Just like Obama's sophisticated birthday party, when these Democrats, the you know, religious zealots that they are, you know, with their demagogue worship through dogma of a Joe Biden, and we know he's cognitively impaired. Of course, he's cognitively impaired. Goodness me. Um, so yes, everything that we are receiving, a Pink Floyd song, everything that we're receiving in terms of, and there goes the camera again, everything that's coming at us, sorry, trying it, one more, tighten. Everything that's coming at us is, it's so Orwellian, it really is. Anyone that's read 1984 or Animal Farm will understand this. Or just watch various movies. I mean, there's so many of life's, it's like life imitating art, art imitating life. And I can't help but, you want to fictionalize this, you want to say, well, isn't everything going on a work of fiction? And meanwhile, everything is rinse and repeated, rinse and repeated, rinse and repeated. So, when the topic of conversation was exclusively Brexit, that was it. It's a monoculture, isn't it? It's very monolithic, as is this monologue. But yeah, it is mono actually. You've got the conversation. It's gone from Brexit, and then he went, oh, we'll talk Epstein, and then Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's amazing that someone like Ghislaine Maxwell, I know, matching hanky, what twat, going through a Burgundy stage. So I find it funny, I find it disgusting, the degree of look over here, the revolving door, and I mean that in a literal sense. We know, whether we're talking a metaphorical revolving door or a very real revolving door. So we all know English and American politicians will retire to Big Pharma, or part of the military industrial complex. They'll go into the arms industry, the sort of munitions. So, Raytheon and what's that, Dynamics One or BAE or Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, etc. So these defence contractors that were once government officials then go into, or they were military, ex-military, and then go to work for the company that got a defence contract, or then go to government or out of government back into the private sector. In the case of Scott Gottlieb recently, he's only my age, 49, goes from Food and Drug Administration, being a regulator. So Pfizer want their, they want their vaccine regulated, and then someone like Scott Gottlieb, for example, got the book deal, of course, much like Fauci, get the book deal. Have you noticed that they've all got books? They've all got books. Andrew Cuomo, has Pelosi got one yet? Yeah, she probably has. It's like, that's the disgusting thing. These fucking people, excuse my French, they're so greedy. They're so greedy. It's like their greed knows no. Russell Brand said this. I'm a massive fan of Russell, and you could point a finger at Russell, couldn't you, and say, well, he's part of it. But at least Russell Brand comes out and says it and goes, yes, mate. But it's the lie. What have I done? 34 minutes. It's the lying, isn't it? It's your complicit. You acquiesce and you subjugate yourself because you're like, oh, I'm aware of this, but hey, I'll still like them, I'll still vote for them. And this could be your favourite English person, your favourite American person. These people go through the revolving door from lobbying lobbyists going into, whether it's Parliament, whether it's Westminster or Washington, right? Why don't we call it Washminster? Make a portmanteau, make it a hybrid. Fuck it. It's just funny to me. It's funny to me now, whether we're talking about COVID or politics or entertainment. Who said it recently? It was Richard Wolff, the Economist? Bollocks, I'm blanking on who it was, but he was talking about Branson and Bezos, their cock race. It was a literal cock race, wasn't it? I mean, it was completely phallic. I mean, especially in the case of Bezos, It's like, make the helmet bigger, mate, you know. And I'm an Elon fan, I love Elon too, but it's just, I've got a particular loathing for Jeff Bezos, even though everything I own, everything I speak on, everything I wear has come from Amazon, I shit you not. Whether it's this mic or the hat or the t-shirt or even my bloody, you know, little bracelets here, everything, you know, my water bottle, everything has come from Amazon. And it was something that Russell Brand said actually, that each employee of, sorry, the plosive there, the pop, each employee of Amazon could receive a one-off monetary gift of 65 grand of every single, and that's a global level, that's not just the UK. So yeah, he's so stinking rich now, is Jeff, that you could give 65k to each employee as a monetary gift, as a one-off payment. I mean, that's a huge amount of money. 65k to most, you know, that's a life, you know, it's a life-altering sum of money, isn't it? It's tax-free. It's huge, and it just shows how much he's grown and gained. And then you look at Bezos and you look at Branson, you think during a pandemic that's scheduled to become an endemic, you know, it's here to stay, you know, have your third shot. They've had the space race and they've not even achieved the level of penetration, it's appropriate, that they did when I was a kid watching it on the telly, Apollo, whatever. So I know there's a bit of a NASA collab there, but I just find it funny that it's like, it's, again, performative. Let me build a cock rocket that visually does look like a penis, and let me fly this thing up and kiss and just and come back again. You know, it's not like it's really gone into proper space or landed on the moon, or it's just, I don't get it. I don't. And when you look at the complicit media, people championing this. So when you find that, look guys, it's very much in plain sight. When you find a news channel that's championing a Bezos or this endeavor, and they go, oh yeah, you know, and they're clapping and they're saying, isn't this inspiring? Isn't this great? And no, it's not. It's not at all. If you're part of the Billionaire Boys Club, yes, of course it's inspiring because it's an inside joke and the joke's on us. But if you're just part of the Gen Pop, if you're just a regular, you know, on City Street like the rest of us, I know it's good to have aspirations and it's good to strive, and it's, you know, don't be a lazy bum and do try and improve yourself. And you know, I get it. We all should do that, really. Well, they don't have to, but it's good to strive for something, isn't it? I'm being really rhetorical. You look at these people, and it's such the level of absurdity, or should I say perversity, is such that it's not a figure. And again, I'm doing a bit of I feel like I'm being a slight sort of plagiarist here, because I know Russell Brand has spoken about this exact subject, so I'm almost paraphrasing Brand a little bit here. I feel like that makes me a bit of a fraudulent, so I've got some imposter syndrome with my self-deprecating way. But yeah, I find that level of wealth, even, again, most of us won't even fathom £1 million. Hold on. That's better. Yeah, most of us won't. When somebody's going into, you know, we look at Apple, obviously new iPhones, you know, a couple of weeks away now, isn't it? It's numbers that we can't see or cope with, in the same way that a Neil deGrasse Tyson might say, oh, the stars in the sky, it's like trillions and galaxies, and you know, the never-ending expanse of the universe. There you go, I've cleared it. It's a level of wealth that goes into this rarefied realm where we can't get it, we can't see it. It's and meanwhile he gets government subsidies. So the US government, will reward a Bezos a sneaky 10 to 15 bill, not mil, bill, on top, right? No tax for you, Jeff. And I just find the whole, and this is where economist Richard, I'm sure it's Richard Wolff, was talking to Marilyn. Oh, she's really good actually. She's an American politician. A bit like Tulsi Gabbard. Any American politician that dares to stand up to the established Dem Republic, either or, gets removed, as they did with the gorgeous Tulsi Gabbard. What a shame. I don't know. It's a bit like when you watch David Fuller, Rebel Wisdom, UK channel, sense making, and he refers to it because each night I do this stream, and it reaches about the 40-minute mark, this foregone conclusion of, well, Justin's doing this again, the usual verbose thing. And then whether we're talking about a Jake Paul fight, keeping it surface level, that is quite a light-hearted conversation. There's me talking about a YouTuber fighting an ex-UFC guy. Won't that be entertaining for us all? To the sort of layer cake background of that, how that might have come about, and that's why I spoke a bit about the Tyson Bruce Lee thing, and how the area of modern pugilism, combat sports, and the spectacle of the fight and the evolution from the ring, to the cage / octagon, and how don't we love it, how that's come to be, and then everything is tinged with a bit of politics, because that's being almost like I don't know, I think of a Benny Hill or a Wurzel Gummidge sketch, like the cake in the face or something. I don't know, guys. I just think it's almost as if I could call every stream. I think I did it last night when I called it Strangest Things, not Stranger Thing, but Strangest Things, because, and how many times have you caught me saying this, that depending on your purview, depending on your satellite view, and I know Rogan spoke about this, if you were an alien and you were able to satellite yourself literally off the planet, off this mortal coil, and to look, God dear, that is awful. Excuse me, I'm going to do another couple of minutes, I'm going to go. And to look at the planet, to look at us, to look at the world. I won't get too, I'm no bloody philosopher. I'm just saying, and it's what many are thinking. If you look at us and our behaviour from an elevated position, you think, we're fucked. Well, we're not going in a good direction, are we? And I'm not talking about things like, the pollution, and what am I going to do? Start speaking about Greta Thunberg, and getting all green. I just, containing the conversation, trying to contain the conversation in your head. I suggest you don't, because it's too big. It's too large, this conversation, to make head or tail of, and that's why I mentioned David Fuller's channel, Rebel Wisdom, and he does a series called Sense Making, because it is about making sense of this. And I know that the conversations that we're trying to make sense of are centered around, in the public consciousness, whether it's talking to your missus, or your respective other half, or your friend at work, or family member, about their COVID concerns. And I mentioned this last night, that I find pretty freaking upsetting that COVID has become, again, it's become a religious thing, it's become zealotry. You've got people LARPing, live action role playing, right? You've got people that are so twisted that they're literally hijacking themselves or their other half, or dirty anti-vaxxer, stay away from me, like get the guy that came across out, right? Come on, come on. So that's really all I'm appealing to. That's really all I'm saying. I'm going to shut the fuck up and go now. That'll do. That's 3 calls now. And I hope you've enjoyed it. But look, I'll be back. I'll be back Monday, because this is a Monday to Friday stream. Nice to see you, sir, Captain Stew, Mr. Nichols there. Lovely to see you, mate. And really, that's it tonight, guys. Nothing. I'm not sitting here professing anything clever or spectacular. Hey, I've got something really juicy to say. God, I'm going a bit. That's what I am doing. So yeah. Arguably, this conversation is a continuation of last night's, insofar as it's a lot of what's occurring is either looking at, I'll leave you with this note: enjoy your weekend, right, and just enjoy it at a surface level. Be superficial, keep your optics light, because that's rich coming from me, isn't it? Walking paradox here, but that's really the problem. You've got such an easy banana peel slip into the realm of what the fuck, so it's incredibly easy. I apologise about my throat. Oh no, it's got COVID. It's incredibly easy to fall into the category of it's too overwhelming, it's too much. And again, you've only got to spend a little bit too long watching too many news channels, or to get caught up in the politics, because remember my personal, and it hasn't caught on, I wish it would catch on, my personal promotion of the hashtag WAP, and that's not a reference to the Cardi, well, it is a reference to the Cardi B song, but I use the acronym WAP not for wet ass pussy, but for weaponized and politicized. Whether you're UK spelling with an S or American spelling with a Z, weaponized and politicized. So everything is WAPed, and it's just, I did it for my own sake. I thought, how can I best gift wrap this shit in my own head? Looking at the news, looking at the media, looking at YouTube, oh my God, you're Justin, you're cisgendered, you're the devil, unless you become a complete misanthrope and start to hate mankind, you're a bigot anyway, you're a bigot because you're white. And that's something that, again, we mustn't lose sight of: the flawed, funny, fickle, fragile, there you go, 4 Fs, flawed, funny, fickle, fragile freaks we are. And I'll leave you with that. Consider it, ask yourselves why everything is WAPed, weaponized and politicized. Follow the money. There you go, and have a good weekend. Okay, alright, I'm going to go. Sorry for the sloppy camera angles. This is Justin House, episode 405 over, and yeah, I'm out. Cheers.